All right, coming up on our next segment with the fan on and the fan off. I'm going to be rebuilding the hub assembly on this 1970 Dodge truck, which is a straight axle. So I got brake hoses, I have bearings, I have wheel cylinders, all that good stuff. So this is what we have here. This is a drum brake front. It kind of goes on the same way your rotors would go on when you had all that in there. You pop the cap off and you got the nut and the bearings and all that stuff in there. Kind of same idea, but then it slides over instead of being just a hat that comes off, right? So of course we got a few extra things in here. We got our kingpin that goes in here, so I'll be making sure that's all lubed up and looking nice right there. We got a little adjuster slot so we can adjust our brakes. The hose goes in a little weird, but we're going to be replacing all this anyway. Get that looking pretty good right there. And the kingpins, we did have it replaced not that long. Well, it's been a long time ago, not that many miles ago. So these should still be in some pretty good condition kingpins right there. Just go in and kind of double check that and make sure everything's going good there. And that'll be done. Do one side, do the other, and wham bam, we're going to get it knocked out. So I'll take you along for this journey. Well, that step was pretty easy. The grease in here looks really good. It's not old and everything, so I remember we did go into this and worked on it. It's tight, but that just might be just because of age and crud and everything. But I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. I already have the components. Just replace them. But yeah, that's a good sign right there. So we should be looking pretty good on this assembly and probably won't need a hub because I don't know if we can buy these anymore. If we can, it might be pretty expensive. So I'll see if I can go ahead and get this off. And I got a metal splinter in my hand from something. Can't imagine where that would come from. But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to show you that. The grease does look pretty good. I should probably be putting gloves on at this point and make sure I'm swept up real good and get me a little container to put all that stuff in and just get started on this. All right, next little segment. I've got my wrist brace on and safety glasses because the drum brake adjuster just isn't adjusting. So we're having to resort to more caveman techniques. So I've got this pried off a little bit here, and of course it's, you know, it's coming out that way. So I got my pry bar in here, right, and what I'm going to do is tap down and just bring it all the way down, tap it back in and bring it around and just keep working it, right? Because you don't want to get it too cockeyed. I mean, we can see it's kind of cockeyed right now. But it is coming off because this is more progress than what I had. And where I started to kind of get to there is I had my punch and my hammer and was working it to see if it'd cooperate. And it just, you know, even though this was in good condition when parked, like, yeah, you probably heard that, ran when parked, right? So this worked good when it was parked, but it's set for who knows how many years, probably 10 years, something like that. And now it needs redone. So that's kind of the nature of that. If it was on the road and working, then it wouldn't have bound up, right? Well, I think that's my cardio for the week. Got it broke loose, had to just keep working it, keep working it, keep working it. And this side finally broke loose here. And we're about to get this off right there. Now it's all rusty on the inside. So that's probably why the adjuster failed. It probably just rusted up. Whew! Okay, needs a little more cowbell. Right, so you kind of see the method, and then using the punch, once it gets good and tight, keep working it around, pry bar, punch, hammer, you know, all that good stuff to get your heart rate going real good, and then try not to hit it so hard it drops out on the floor. So I think I'm down to a two-handed job and maybe put something underneath there to make sure it don't just land face on the floor. Get some boards or something underneath there, and I think we're going to have this bugger off here in a couple minutes. And there we are. Full of rust. It just sat around and rusted up. I did get it loose. There's nothing, this isn't an auto adjuster because this is front brakes. I did get it loose with my pliers here. So it's jammed, but you know, maybe if I had the actual tool for that, it would help, but this is all it needs to be cleaned. But I think I got new ones of that. So, and the whole spring kit and everything. So you've probably seen me do this I don't know how many times doing drum brakes. Now we got a bearing on here, and there's a little seal back there. So I want to go ahead and get this covered up right here and get all this dirt out of there, and probably just give this a clean up and put it back on. Could it be replaced? Yeah, but we're not. Yeah, we ain't taking this thing to the drag strip. So new pads on it and everything. This isn't going to be driven a lot, and it's not going to be driven fast. Well, I will drive it fast for testing purposes for our engine here to get some baselines, but shy of that, it's not. Yeah, it's not going to be driven fast and going to the drag strip or anything. So I think we'll be all right. Okay, back together. I just cleaned everything up, put stuff back together. The little generic bag that I bought right here of springs, I used some of them I didn't use. I had to reuse one of them just because there wasn't enough springs in there. Specifically, this kit, I needed more of these because it takes 2 of these on this setup, and I got 2 in the bag, and I need 4 to do the other side. But other than that, went back together. Well, I've done, I just hate to say this, I've done drum brakes enough to where it's getting easier. That's not anything to brag about. So anyways, I do need to tighten the nut down in there. I went ahead and reused the bearings and seals because I forgot to buy the seal. The other thing, the bearings look good. I'm not replacing those because I plan to work on another one of these. I do have access to a couple of these trucks. Now where that goes, I don't know, but the bearings, I have those right here. They're extra. Anything extra, I'm putting aside. I did have to replace that wheel cylinder. It was just rusted up. So I am replacing what needs to be done. Brake hoses, my box fell. Yes, definitely brake hoses, I'm replacing those. I went ahead and did the brake shoes. I already own those. I don't trust those old shoes because it got brake fluid that leaked on them because the wheel cylinder leaked and so on and so on. But pretty much together, I do need to get some more grease for my grease gun to grease the that joint there, tighten it down. But that's it. I got that part done. I went ahead and got the engine mounts bolted on, the new ones. The old ones didn't look bad, but I'd rather just go ahead and get those. Those are notorious for being bad. That's kind of how some of this goes, especially this older stuff of just trying to find all the bits and pieces and parts and what do I have on hand, what am I going to buy, you know, what worked, what bolts up, and so on. And it's a learning experience. Like I said, I haven't built one of these trucks before. I've done the newer model truck, the 73 up stuff. I'm more familiar with those. But we're going to see what we can do. I'd really like to just replace the axle and get rid of the whole frame and put a good frame underneath it, but not there yet. Ooh, so what do we got left? I need to do the coupler, and I was very surprised I could buy this, but I couldn't buy like standard bushings in the frame. It's like, I don't get it. That's what makes these trucks hard to work on, is because parts are sporadic what you can get, so you kind of got to, you know, go with what you know and what you can get, and hope it works. But that's what we're doing. I don't know if I showed you this or not. These are the little shackle extensions right here, and that gives me frame separation because we're using the 78 Power Wagon springs, the heavy stack on there. Between that and our 2-inch lift block, we should get this truck setting decently high. It's going to be a military truck build. We're not lowering it. The next one may be something different, but that's what we got going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, get that lubed up, and show you what it looks like when we're done on this segment here. Alright, the pile's getting less. Actually, this box I can put up, mark it for what it is, and that's done. I just got some washers to do so I can do my brake hoses, but other than that, we're done. So it's all back together, and I need to tighten the brakes up, but good and loose right now. So I'll tighten that up to where it has a little bit of drag on it, and then of course we need to do all of our hoses and all that stuff, right? So the brake hose goes in there and goes through this hole right here and locks in with the nut. So I'm not sure I'm going to keep that exact method because I need brake lines. So all the brake lines on this, they're just old, right? Actually, that's where this one comes in to where to, oh, right there. So yeah, that would go in somehow like that. Forgot how, I'm tore it apart. But anyways, what I think I want to do is, if you remember, if you did watch the Power Wagon, it had issues with the brakes. Everything under it was rotted out. Well, I can buy lines for this right here. So if we look up underneath here, I'm kind of in the middle of taking that brake line off, and I'm going to attempt to mock that up with all that system there and see how it looks. If it looks good, I can buy brand new stainless steel lines that fits that truck and adapt it to this truck, and then it's all brand new stainless steel lines. Other than that, I am going to have to work with the old lines, reflaring them, reflaring old lines. Just I don't know if you saw anything because I forget, with the light coming in from the back, cameras don't like that. So I don't know, I just can't buy these parts. I'm dealing with all old parts, or buying a line and having to do all the bends and everything on it, and flares and all that. So I'll try to avoid doing that and get a nice pre-bent piece. I got that one that I haven't put on the Power Wagon yet, the whole back half of the line, and I think I'm willing to try that out, but I want to mock it up before I spend the 80 bucks. And it's only $80 for all the lines for the 78 Power Wagon. Can't buy it for this. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do next, is get that mocked up, see what that's going to look like, see what it's going to take to get that to fit. If it looks like it's pretty plausible that that's going to work, I'll go ahead and order that, and then, you know, whenever that comes in, we'll be done. I was going to grease the joints, but I'm out of grease. I got to go buy grease, and I forgot to buy grease when I was in town, so now I'll get to go back into town again to buy grease. But anyways, I think that sums up this part, and it's just going to be mocking up, but I'll probably just go ahead and make that its own video of how to adapt. I'm saying that, how to adapt that to here. Hopefully it works, but I'm going to give it a whirl right there, and maybe there'll be a video that comes out if that works good. I'll test it out first, right? Okay, that idea, we're just going to cut to the chase. That will not work. Completely different design. See, what happens is on the 78, it has one line coming from the master, actually the distribution block for the fronts, goes into there, and then it splits it into two, kind of like a rear brake system. This one, hold on, kitty. This one has two outs, one for one side, one for the other. So that will not work. So I'll have to come up with something different. Are you out of food? Huh? Oh, I turned the camera on and now you can't speak? Oh, okay. I thought your meower quit. I need to wash my hands before I pet you, kitty, and feed you. Is that okay? It is? Okay. All right.